You know, I never imagined my second ever video would end up being about an anime. I kind of thought it would be about some awful TV show or garbage film that pissed me off and I just wanted to rip it apart. But beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. So I'm coming to you today with a simple message. Spy Time's family is good. Like, that's about it, guys. Like, that is my opinion of this anime. But I suppose you guys are going to want a more reasons than just it's good. Which is why I'm going to take the chance for the next few minutes to explain why it's worth checking out if you're still on the fence about it. Which honestly, I highly doubt that's the case for most people since the show is pretty damn popular if you've looked anywhere within the anime community. Now, I'm going to start with our wonderful family, the family that has taken the internet, mostly the anime community, by storm. And I will have to mention a number of things from the anime, but I'll try to keep anything too spoilery to a minimum. Now, why don't we begin this little review with everybody's favorite cold-hearted spy slash loving father, Twilight.
ねえねえロバート、私たちもいつか。
カレン、僕たち別れよう。君の話には知性を感じない。それじゃお幸せに。
ちょっとロバート、そんな急に。
I'm gonna be completely honest about this part. I love Twilight as a character. I think he's great, you know. I think he's honestly my favorite part of the show. Because when we're first introduced to him as a character, he's like on this mission, right? He's a man of many masks. He's a man with ice in his veins and is capable of doing whatever is necessary to get the mission done, right? You think nothing is capable of breaking his composure. I mean, what can startle a man of this caliber, of this stature, right? Yeah, that doesn't last long. Like, I swear to God, this was like 2-3 minutes in. That gets completely shirked away, right? You know, we have this scene playing out, right? He's getting his next assignment, right? He's being told like the fate of the whole of peace, of stability is on the line here. Yeah, then he's told, yeah, you gotta get a girl pregnant in like 7 days, pop out a kid, and get he or she ready for school. Yeah, no pressure. I think what I found enjoyable about that scene was his reaction, right? And how much it contrasts to what we just saw and what he displayed for us, what was put on display. You know, this cold, calculating personality of his went out the window for a brief moment to show, yeah, he's human. You know, he's an actual person. He can be surprised in some ways, right? So as the season progresses, our elite spy all of a sudden goes from, being this lone wolf that gets the job done to being exposed to a brand new world. You know, he gets to feel like what it's like being a father, a husband. He got to know what it was like to come home to somebody at the end of the day. And those experiences started to change him as a person, right? You know, throughout the season, we see the little moments that indicate such a change is happening. Him feeling relieved to know his daughter got into an elite school, right? You know, something that most parents would be almost either exhausted from and or joyous to find out that kind of news, right? He feels shame for doubting his wife, and feeling like he almost betrayed her in a sense. Yeah, so all these little things go to show his progression as a character. We even reach a point where Twilight has to constantly convince himself that he didn't care about either members of his family. And the honest truth is, we have no idea if that's him being completely honest or if he's just flat out lying to himself. We've kind of reached that point where, you might say, well, we don't know if he's lying. But the thing is, you don't know if he's lying to himself, which is what I think is the more likely case, right? And I think the other best part of Lloyd is whenever he does have those interactions, right? Lloyd is the name he took on his cover story for this mission that he's on, right? His interactions with his pretend wife and his pretend daughter are some of the best of the show. That's what defines this whole thing. That's what has led so many people to enjoy this, right? And also because it also happens to show a, I don't know, a functional family. Yeah, that's in kind of short supply for some people. But but one moment that stuck out, one of the moments that really stuck out to me was when Lloyd was trying to get his daughter to study and trying to get the mission moving along, to get her going at the pace he would like it to be, you know? And yet he feels something he probably hasn't felt many times in his life, and that is frustration. Right? He's getting to the end of his rope. He's like figuring out, what do I do? What do I what do I have to do to get this girl to figure out the problem ahead of him, the problem on the paper, right? And obviously the daughter grows frustrated and runs off, right? As any child would. Yet the solution was the most, I guess you could say, mundane thing. It was simply his wife sharing her own experiences with teaching her own brother, and making him realize he has to rethink his approach. I think the best part is he actually went to apologize, not out of wanting to keep leading the girl on, but out of genuinely feeling bad. Right? You could see that moment where it was out of feeling, bad for his daughter, right? And I think that it's yet another showcase of Lloyd sinking further and further sinking further and further into the role. I mean Twilight sinking into the role, but you get what I mean. So that's all the serious and wholesome stuff. We also have to talk about his comedic value. The man has made some hilarious faces. There is no there is no doubting that, right? Um, but I think when it comes to reactions, I believe it's time we talk about a certain beautiful assassin who somehow found herself in the position of being Lloyd's pretend wife. Your forger also happens to be I don't know, the most popular female character right now on the Twitter, as far as I can tell, with all the fan art drawn of her. And yes, she's very beautiful. I will say that much. So there are a lot of things to say about Yor, right? She's a lethal assassin with the codename Thorn Princess. On the flip side, her fierce reputation goes out the window whenever she's with Lloyd, right? Because as cliche as this is, she's never dated a man before, let alone marry one. As she's in this situation with Lloyd, right? And so when you couple her inexperience with a guy like Lloyd, it makes the scenes wholesome because it's showing two people who've never genuinely had any romantic interest in another human being forced into this situation and yet growing to appreciate one another as time goes on, right? Yor is constantly worrying about if she's a good wife. It doesn't come from a place of wanting to keep up the charade, but out of genuinely, yeah. And I will say, I think in the beginning that would be, you can make the argument that is the case. But I think as the season progresses, it's less about keeping up appearances and more out of just wanting to not, be a bad wife, right? And the big moment for Yor was when she was stopped by some officers and asked questions, right? Under the suspicion of being a traitor. So the thing is, Yor didn't come off as someone trying to keep a secret in that moment. She was genuinely upset by by what the officers were trying to allude, but they were suggesting that she was a traitor, that she was putting her family at risk, and she denied it and seemed very much serious that no, I would never do that. I would never betray my husband and daughter like that. So this also leads to her relationship with Lloyd's quote unquote daughter and how that has grown over the past 12 episodes. At first she struggled to grasp the idea of being a mother, right? Even during her time as an assassin, it was something she thought about because look, she's hired to murder people, assassinate people, that whatever person whoever she's tasked with assassinating, she goes in and takes them out, right? But every single time during those pauses, during those moments when there's nothing going on, she thinks about her daughter, her and realizing, does she deserve to be a mother? Does she deserve to have that opportunity when she does stuff like this for a living, right? And so that culminates, I think, in one of the best moments, and I think one of the moments that people genuinely will remember is the interview at the school. And as one of the interviewers decided to be a douchebag and make said daughter cry, let me say this much. Yor looked very scary in that moment, and if I was that interviewer, I would run for the hill. I'm just saying. She's not someone I would want to piss off, right? You know, so you throw all this together, you might go, well, what else does she have? Let me say this much. Her ability to misjudge a situation and overreact is fucking hilarious. It's just funny, right? And as a whole, she's a joy to watch on screen, especially around Lloyd and their daughter. It's actually endearing. But I'll say this much. For as much as Lloyd, aka Twilight, and yours are really great characters, and I actually like them, and do I hope they'll actually, come to become an actual married couple down the road? Yeah, I'm rooting for them in that sense. But we got to talk about the absolute star of this show. We got to talk about everybody's little telepathic daughter, Anya. Now, I think I only need to play one clip that I think encapsulates Anya as a character and why the internet will forever treasure this little girl, because my god, she's great, right? So I'm going to leave it with this clip, right? And then we'll get into the, I guess you could say, the story part about the show, right? So anyway, I'm going to leave it off with this clip because look, I could go on a big spiel about Anya and how great she is. So I'm going to let this clip play, and then we're going to get into the story, and, we're going to go on from there.
Anya. いや、俺は偶然そこまで買い物に来たんだが、潰れちゃったみたいだな。
父すごい嘘つき。アーニャお家帰りたい。父とアーニャのお家。
そうか。じゃあ帰ろう。
I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip, but I think it's time we talk about the story of Spy Time's family. The honest truth about it is that it's not very complicated. It's pretty simple when you think about it. The world is in the middle of a Cold War between two powerful nations. Doesn't take a history buff to know it's based on Europe if you look at the map for 2 seconds. The deeper part, I guess you could say, to the story is Twilight was given this mission, as I said earlier on about him. This mission that is, revolves around him needing to get his daughter in this case, as we know of, but into a school, right? Get her into the school and get close to a man named Donovan Desmond, who is suspected to be a great threat to the fragile stability between the East and the West. Other than that information, there's kind of not much to say on it. Or I should say that's revealed within any point during the first season, right? I'll say this much. The story serves the purpose of Twilight needing the family, thus allowing us to interact with, or him to interact with Yor and Anya on a regular basis, right? It's the kind of story where the real meat of the story isn't necessarily the long overarching plot. It's more about the day-to-day life of the Forger family, and the ever-looming possibility that Lloyd and Yor are going to find out about each other, the truth, right? As neither of them know their actual respective occupation, right? To me, I'm pretty sure this is going to end similar to the way Mr. and Mrs. Smith ended. Now, that's a reference I was not expecting to make, but that is a movie that has a similar enough premise to where you kind of can see this is going to go down that path where, Lloyd and Yor are going to eventually find out about their respective careers and they're going to be forced to make a decision. about what they need to do. And so, that's another thing to worry about down the road. But in terms of the actual story, I genuinely feel like it's meant to only serve as a background to kind of it kind of justifies the reason for Lloyd, aka Twilight, to interact with the two characters in Yor and Anya on any regular basis. Other than that, the story is kind of not really relevant in some ways. They'll say, "Oh, you need to do this, the timetable, blah blah blah," and it's a way to kind of make you remind the watcher that there is a story in reality. Other than that, I don't have much else to say about the story. It's not really something that was the main focus, and I'll say this much: I I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the interactions between the family, the Forger family, to where I actually went on to read the manga. But again, not going to say anything about that. So I'm going to give my final thoughts in general about Spy Time's family. It is a fun time. I will not deny that. If somebody was to flat out ask me how to describe this show, it is a wholesome, fun show about a family, right? It's a story about a cold-hearted spy learning to, being exposed to brand new emotions and going through experiences that he doubted he would have ever experienced in his entire life, right? All of these reasons are why I'm actually excited that there's, the season 2 is coming out already in October. As technically this probably would have been one season, but there was 25 episodes split between 12 and 13. So we have 13 episodes to look forward to towards the end of the year, right? That's enough for me to go, I'm watching when that comes out, right? So for anyone who's on the fence about the show, who's been thinking, "Oh, I don't know if it's the show for me." If you like comedy, if you like action, if you like just watching a family grow and watching this unfold, I cannot recommend Spy Times Family more than I have so far, right? I'll say this much. Some of the wholesomeness in the show, I think, would even get a smile out of Joseph Stalin, right? I think even he would be amused. Even he would find this stuff great, right? And so I think I've talked about everything that appeals to me, right? This may not be a traditional review where I go over the plot, I go into all this stuff, but this is just like my opinion about the show, right? I love it. I will be waiting for October when season 2 releases. And honest to God, I really hope that, there might be even a season 3. We'll have to wait and see, because, episode 12 introduced one of the last member to their family. And let's just say the things that we'll be seeing down the road it'll be a joy, right? So, as some people might think, I'm being positive despite my name being grim. I'm actually being positive about the show. Well, I don't hate everything, right? So I'm going to take this chance to talk about some stuff related to the channel, right? Because for those of you who are aware, as I said earlier, this is my second ever video on YouTube, and I have to say a massive thank you to, the fact that my first ever video actually hit like 300 plus views. I was genuinely surprised to see that many people watched it. For me, I thought it would only get to like 100 views or something, right? At best, and that would have been like after 6 months, but no, not even 2 weeks, not even, a little over a week, and already 300 plus views. Like, I have to say a massive thank you to those of you who checked it out, and to those of you who did like. I definitely have more, video ideas in the works, and I'm actually working on some of them as we speak, right? So, just want to say a massive thank you, right, to all of you who are not only watching this video, but, some of the other stuff on the channel, right? Um, just, hit the thumbs up if you really like the video. it helps. Believe it or not, it helps. Leave a comment. I actually want to know what you guys think. Am I being a lunatic? Am I being too, too gushy about the show? Like, tell me what you guys think, man. I appreciate all kinds of feedback. Good, bad, positive, negative, neutral, whatever your thoughts are, don't be scared to share them with me. I got tough skin. If you got to have that if you're going to be on the internet. So anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and keep an eye out for some of the other stuff I have in the works, because I think I have more than enough videos to keep myself busy for a little bit. Anyway, I will hopefully see you guys next time, and catch you guys later.